Stargirl, The Lost Children, issue 4. Geoff Johns writing with Todd Nuck on the art. So this, we get Corky doing some explaining, talking about Flashpoint and how Manhattan stole 5 years of the timeline, and this displaced a bunch of people, and they were keeping all these kids, all these sidekicks, kind of safe in the time vault, and it was Batman stealing stuff from the vault when he was trying to create his own snow globe universe for his Flashpoint father.
Beyond.
Yeah. That basically released these like kids into the time stream, and then Childminder stole them out of the time stream and put them on this island where it's outside of time.
For someone to come and purchase them.
Yeah, she's going to sell them to someone, which the issue teases a few times, and at the end you get the big reveal of who it is.
So I just want to take a minute, and I messaged Pete yesterday, and I was like, hey, I'm going to do a victory lap. And then this guy, who I've done a show with 4 years at this point, goes, I don't even remember what you said.
I don't. I assume you predicted something to do with Our Man, since Our Man shows up at the end.
No, it has everything to do with Corky and the Flashpoint Beyond, and about how the snow globe is responsible for the kids. Because whatever Batman did with the snow globe,
even remotely remember you saying that.
Yeah, because I said, remember, because Corky being here and Corky being the only Time Master we saw with Bruce, right? And Flashpoint Beyond, that snow globe has to do with these kids. And then I also tied it to JSA, right?
Oh, so do you think from Corky's perspective, this is set before when he showed up in Flashpoint Beyond? Like, so those scenes where he's talking to Batman, do you think those scenes for Corky happen after this?
I'm not sure because something has to happen with the snow globe to kick off the Flashpoint Beyond stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure where this all takes place in time. However, being that they're all Geoff Johns, I'm sure
technically it's outside of time, and I know that before any smart arses in the comments tell me that. But I'm just saying from the perspective of Corky saying Batman stole this globe, it's caused this problem, and he's here with the kids. I'm just wondering if his like altercation with Batman is after he gets out with all the kids.
Yeah, I'm not sure because of timey-wimey, right?
Yeah, timey-wimey, yeah.
Because all of the stuff, but but I also like that this is Johns going through and in his own way playing with continuity in the ways that I like, of being like, yeah, these kids are from out of time, and the reason they don't exist is because of Batman.
There was a funny response to that where he says he brings up Batman, and one of the sidekicks goes, "Who's Batman?"
Yeah, and I just, in the meta sense, again with the metaverse and how this ties in with Doomsday Clock and this new thing called the Divine Continuum, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, is just the idea of these golden age superheroes changing, like these sidekicks changing when, Batman comes around, right? And this, the idea of the introduction of Robin. And,
that's an interesting meta perspective on this. It's a representation of Batman changed comics fundamentally when he showed up.
Right. So and I like that. That's why I like love Geoff Johns as a writer, for him going back and playing with comics in and of themselves. So Corky telling them about where they are now, or he had seen the Divine Continuum, which big DC letters, which that cracked me up. Because we had in Flashpoint Beyond, we saw the difference between the Omniverse, which is space, and Hyper Time, which is the time continuum. And wherever they are, whatever he had seen, he kind of described as heaven, as this divine continuum is over them all. But when you look at his little chart, it also has the sphere of the gods. So I'm wondering what all of this has to do with that aspect of things. Like,
the new gods. I have no idea. I do like the idea though. It starts with them like in their bubble traveling through time, and they literally see Barry on his way to do Flashpoint. I thought that was an interesting little.
There goes Flash to go screw things up. I love it. Stupid Barry Allen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the big thing is that because there's a tease with Judy running on her treadmill that she's seeing every time when she runs on the treadmill. She sometimes gets glimpses of her father. She gets glimpses of the life that was taken from her, and she says just before she passes out, oh, like, there's someone else with my father who's supposed to be a friend. And that's your kind of tease before the last page when Our Man shows up. And didn't we say last time that the
because the Miraclo Beach.
The sand on the beach, was the same as the sand on his hourglass. So they kind of teased that then as well. It's interesting. So the kids are all storming the castle effectively to come after and rescue whoever's captured and try and get off the island. And this is when our man shows up at the end. So more than half the issue is Corky explaining all the bullshit, which is, I don't know, if you care about continuity and have some fun with how Johns plays with it, you'll have some fun with it. And then there's some fight scenes, and then our man shows up.
So I'm trying to figure out which Our Man this is, because this looks like the Android version, but I know it's not, because they also say he's the representative from Tyler Co., which is, Rex Tyler's company, and whatnot. So trying to figure out which one. I'm sure there's going to be an answer there. But this whole island being on outside of time and the childminder, the idea that she was the idea or the inspiration for Mother Goose, I thought that was another fun little wrinkle, right? That she's this bird lady, and then she explains that, well, no, they, in order for their human minds to comprehend it, that it was an old lady with a goose and they were separate, they weren't the same, and that she's not exactly in her eyes evil. She's just, rearing these children for their own, for whatever they're going to do. Mind you, she's selling children. So,
well, and it also raises the question, what does our man want with the kids? Yeah. What's his purpose? Well, he's been presented as quite villainous here, but what's the end goal exactly?
Yeah.
So, who knows?
So I'm trying to figure out. So, a lot of fun. I like all of these new kids. Yeah. Molly Pitcher pouring weapons out of her actual pitcher, I thought was a fun little thing. And then the robot dog and Stargirl asking if he could link up, and he goes, I have no idea what that means. I'm just a clockwork dog that's meant to, make humans comfortable around robots.
She's like, you don't have Wi-Fi? What?
Yeah. I thought that was all really funny. So, but yeah, it felt really good. It feels like the Johns that I, fell in love with and going to the comic shop weekly to go see, to go check out Teen Titans and Flash and all the other stuff that he was working on. So, it seems like he's got his groove back, and I'm happy for that.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that GSA seems like it's on a bit of a delayed schedule. It feels like we've been away since issue 2, but it does feel like he's building to something, which is nice. It's almost like they're just giving him his own little corner to mess around with what he wants to. So we'll see what comes of it.
I'm wondering how Judy Garrick plays into all this too, because there's always a thing about Jay and his wife taking in Bart because they couldn't have kids of their own. I just hope that doesn't change that dynamic, right? Judy just shows up and it changes things with Bart. I hope that's not what comes from it. So,
well, I think it has to. I think that's why the choice is made to do it, is that it's such a key part of their character that they wanted Bart because they couldn't have a kid of their own. To find out that they did have a kid of their own that was taken from them in time is what makes her narratively quite interesting. It's like, no, you did have a kid and then she vanished. Like you this was stolen from you, and this was something that we know the characters always wanted. So that makes it important. Especially since it's not like we're not going to have. Or I'd be very surprised if we get any Jay taking in Bart stories anytime soon. Anyway, I feel like that part of history is done. So I don't think it matters. I really don't think it affects anything.
No, it doesn't. But for me, for personal reasons, it there's a little thread there that it makes me kind of sad that they're changing that. And I'm curious to see how this fits in, because I think they name drop Judy in JSA.
I think so. Yeah.
So
but I wouldn't see them as them changing something. I see it as them using that part of history to inform why this character existing at all is interesting. Yeah. So she only works and is interesting as a character because that's part of Jay's history. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But hey, it was a fun time. I mean, as an issue, it's a bit uneven because it's this weird half is just exposition and then there's a bit of a fight and then the other man shows up. But I found it quite interesting. I'd probably will you rate it first?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It has nothing to do with the victory lap, but that helps. But feels nice when I'm right because it doesn't happen all the time. So,
Allegedly right, I'll say.
Yes.
I'll just go with 7.5. I think it's a bit uneven as an issue, but I do enjoy the playing with the, I think it's just a little bit too much like clunked together at the start, but I do like what it's playing with and what it's sort of setting up for the future.